of the agenda. I now give the floor to Mr. Milbert Dongjun Shin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished members of the Security Council. It is my honor to brief the Council on developments in Kosovo since the latest report of the Secretary General, covering the period from March 16th through September 15th, and also provide some overarching observations. Mr. President, I would like to begin by commending and congratulating the people of Kosovo on the peaceful and inclusive atmosphere of the local elections held on October 12th. I call on all parties to maintain the same calm and inclusive environment in the runoff elections set for November 9th, in order that people can continue to freely enjoy the right to vote. I would also like to acknowledge the important role played by the Election Complaints and Appeals Panel and the Supreme Court in upholding the rule of law and ensuring compliance with electoral laws in Kosovo. Their decisions reinforced the legal guarantees of inclusiveness and electoral integrity. While we welcome the slight increase in the number of women candidates in mayoral elections this year, I note that only one municipality out of 38 will be led by a woman mayor. As elected local officials prepare to assume office, we look forward to the smooth and timely formation of local government administrations that can serve all residents. Municipal governments are the closest link to communities. Their proper functioning helps translate people's voices into actions that shape their daily lives. Mr. President, since the legislative elections in February, divisions between political parties had prevented the constitution of the Assembly of Kosovo and the formation of a government. This stalemate had constrained the functioning of central institutions. On October 10th, with the election of a Kosovo Serb deputy president, the Assembly was declared to be constituted by its president. Subsequently, 10 Assembly members, including the 9 members from the Srpska Lista party, contested this election before the Constitutional Court. Pending the court's decision, we reiterate that respect for the independence of the judiciary remains a cornerstone of democratic society. And we express hope that in line with the court's ultimate decision, political divisions can soon be overcome so that the people of Kosovo will be represented and served by their institutions. Mr. President, we welcome the dialogue meetings in June and September between Belgrade and Pristina in Brussels. We call on both parties to avoid measures that might erode trust, and I encourage the parties to address outstanding issues constructively and in good faith within the dialogue framework under the leadership of the EU Special Representative Peter Sorensen and in line with existing commitments. I also welcome the meeting in July of the Working Group on Missing Persons, chaired by the International Committee of the Red Cross, engaging sincerely to help clarify the fate of the missing and seeking to bring closure to the enduring pain of their families remains a noble and essential humanitarian endeavor. Our mission remains committed to supporting all efforts to address the fate of missing persons. Mr. President, earlier this year, Kosovo authorities enabled many residents with documents from Serbia-run institutions to regularize their status in the Kosovo system. We welcome this positive step. We also encourage authorities to establish a more consistent pathway for civil registration. A commitment to seeking solutions can best enable all members from non-majority communities to acquire necessary documents and enjoy equitable access to services. Authorities in Kosovo recently announced that the full enforcement of the law on foreigners and the law on vehicles would begin on November 1st. This could introduce administrative challenges affecting access to essential rights and services, including healthcare, education, and employment. This is concerning for those habitual residents of Kosovo from non-majority communities who continue to face difficulties in obtaining the necessary documentation. This should be a moment to renew efforts to finding solutions to these challenges. Mr. President, we reiterate the concerns that we and our international partners have expressed regarding the potential impact of the closure of Serbia-run institutions on access to health, education, and culture. The Pristina authorities have cited legal and administrative imperatives behind these measures, and the issues remain complex. It is important that Pristina authorities genuinely engage all concerned communities prior to enforcing decisions that affect everyday lives, and that they seek viable alternatives in order to avoid or minimize negative impacts. We acknowledge in this regard the continued efforts by the EU's special representative in Pristina to engage with authorities and those affected in order to mitigate the impact of decisions which bear mainly on non-majority communities. In my discussions with political, religious, and community leaders, as well as civil society representatives from all communities, interlocutors have consistently highlighted the importance of dialogue to building trust in managing these complex issues. Mr. President, we have recently passed the second anniversary of the serious security incident in Banska. We call on all relevant authorities in Belgrade and Pristina to take transparent and effective measures to bring perpetrators to justice, including by cooperating through mutually agreed mechanisms. Similarly, full accountability is also essential for the attack nearly a year ago on the Ibar-Lepens water canal. Mr. President, as highlighted in the Secretary General's report, we are concerned by arrests relating to the display of cultural, national, or religious symbols. We underscore the need to respect the legal framework that exists in Kosovo and strike a proper balance between protecting the freedom of expression and preventing the incitement of hatred or violence. Failure to maintain this balance risks infringing on international human rights standards and undermining public trust in the justice and security sectors. Here, too, confidence can be built through dialogue and community engagement. I reiterate UNMIK's calls for the return of Kosovo Serbs to public institutions. Kosovo's vibrant multi-ethnic society should be reflected across its institutions, which can only strengthen democratic governance. Mr. President, we congratulate Kosovo on marking the 25th anniversary of the Ombudsperson institution. I underline our mission's continuous support for the institution, its reporting, engagement, and outreach in line with the Paris Principles. And we urge the Assembly of Kosovo to elect an ombudsperson and deputies to new mandates as soon as it is in a position to do so. This institution remains essential to ensuring accountability, equality, and protection for all people in Kosovo. Kosovo's dynamic civic space remains one of its greatest strengths, yet recent pressures on civil society warrant close attention. Media freedom and the freedom of expression also remain under pressure. The Association of Journalists of Kosovo has reported personal attacks against journalists, and the public TV broadcaster has faced challenges to its independence. Mr. President, UNMIK reiterates the importance of building trust among communities. We therefore continue, despite financial constraints, to promote trust and social cohesion through our programmatic activities. We do this in close cooperation with the UN Kosovo team and local and international partners. These efforts are yielding results. For example, we have supported a grassroots initiative over the past 2 years that work in a number of municipalities to implement projects, bringing together different communities. This has fostered inter-community dialogue while also delivering practical, tangible benefits. These communities also work hand in hand with local authorities. Indeed, co-financing by municipal authorities of these projects reflects the key element of local ownership in this collaborative approach to trust building. We see also that our projects have lasting impacts. A tractor provided 12 years ago to a mixed community of Kosovo Albanian and Kosovo Serb farmers continues to bind neighbors today. Over the years, that initial investment has even inspired other forms of cooperation, even among these farmers. The Bar of our Center remains a flagship for these efforts, having hosted over the past 3 years more than 220 events for over 17,000 participants from all communities. Through these events, we continue to create safe spaces for open and honest dialogue across communities, generating opportunities for reconciliation and lasting peace. These initiatives and many more contribute to reducing intercommunity tensions and to favoring an enabling environment for the political process. Mr. President, we also maintain our commitment to advancing women and youth participation in political processes. UNMIK supported a leadership training program last year to enhance participatory governance across Kosovo for 60 representatives, 45 of whom were women. Participants from various political parties and civil society organizations to improve their capacity to engage in democratic processes and expand cross-community networks. We are pleased that several women trainees stood as first-time candidates in the 2025 local elections. The 7th United Nations Youth Assembly, held this June, brought together over 130 young leaders from Kosovo and across the Western Balkans. Their energy and vision shone through, demonstrating that young people are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but vital agents of change today. Our mission's work on trust building stems from our commitment to peacekeeping and peace building across society, to foster a culture of peace where persons from all communities have a sense of belonging. I thank all my colleagues in UNMIK for their long dedication to this work, despite the challenges they face in implementing our mandate. Before concluding, Mr. President, I wish to acknowledge the outstanding contribution of the outgoing commander of KFOR, General Enrico Barduani, whose leadership has been pivotal in managing crises and ensuring security. I also warmly welcome his successor, General Özkan Ulutaş, as he returns to lead KFOR for a second time. We look forward to working closely with him in the period ahead. Finally, Mr. President, I thank the members of this council for your commitment to peace, stability, and cooperation in Kosovo. By working together, we can sustain progress and dialogue, uphold human rights, and reinforce the foundations for lasting peace. Thank you.
I thank Mr. Shin for his